I know it's not Halloween yet, but I just couldn't resist getting a start on this wall hanging for this Halloween. Spooky. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog number 366 for July the 1st, 2024. And happy Canada Day to all my Canadians. And later this week, it will be Independence Day for the American subscribers. So happy 4th of July. Lots of happy going on. There's also the Pride Parade in Toronto yesterday on Sunday. Big event, over 3 million people there. And when you know it, we heard on the news, don't know the details, but, we're having these pro-Palestinian protests and everything here in our own country. Go figure why. We can't do anything about the problem over on the Gaza Strip. But, anyways, they thought it was their right to go in and interrupt the parade during the protest and stopped it. And I guess they stopped the parade at that point. I don't know how far in the parade had gotten before this happened, but not right. I don't care who you are. You don't have a right to do that. You have a right to protest peacefully. This is not a peaceful protest. This is an act of insurrection. This is an act against a community that, for the most part, supports all people, is very inclusive. The LGBT community, and then you have the nerve to do that. Have you ever had a Pride Parade interrupt one of your protests? No. And the Pride Parade is usually lots of fun, very loud, but very peaceful. Always has been here in Canada, in where I live. There's never been a problem. And then you go in and start this. This is reminiscent of when Black Lives Matters did the same thing a few years ago. Why? See, there you go. You feel you're being discriminated against. You're discriminating against us. Your act of protest is affecting our event, and it is an act of discrimination. So put that in your pipe and smoke it, a-holes. Okay, now that I've got that off my chest, let's go to what I've been working on this week. You have seen this before. It is still not quilted, but there it is. I don't think I showed it with the borders, but that's the Pinwheel Picnic quilt that's designed by Stephanie of Stephanie Stitches. Shout out to Stephanie right now. She's got her arm in a very lovely contraption, her bionic arm. She has tendinitis and some other problems from her shoulder to her wrist. Not good when you're a quilter. So hopefully she's on the mend, and hopefully she can get back at it. I know it's killing her right now not to be able to cut her fabric because of her arm and stuff like that. If I lived closer, I'd go cut her fabric for her. But anyways, send your well wishes to Stephanie for a speedy recovery so we can get back to more of her beautiful designs and creations as well. So I like how this turned out. I did make a small little mistake in reading the pattern. Not a major problem, but I will talk about that tomorrow on the Idiot Quilter. Okay, then I made this table runner for my sister. She requested a table runner, knocked me over with a feather because up to this point in time, she really hasn't been that interested in anything that I quilt. Because I have offered her quilts before, and well, she really isn't that receptive to the idea. But I was very happy to do this for her. I like making things for other people, so this was right up my alley. This one you saw before because I made it in a smaller version for some friends we're going to be visiting in a couple of weeks' time. And I got the dimensions of her coffee table where she wants to put this, and she told me, and I made it to suit. So I'm very happy with the way that turned out. And I'm working on this right now. It's almost finished. Ran into a problem with it yesterday in finishing it up, but I'll talk more about it tomorrow. But this is a Halloween wall hanging, as you can see, and I really like it. But I did have a couple of minor little well, I have a couple, still have a couple of minor little issues that I have to get fixed up today or tomorrow. And I will. And I will. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. Let me just switch the camera over. And of course, you can see behind me, I hadn't taken it down yet, but that you saw a while ago. I made that a while ago. It is the Progressive Pride flag done as a quilt. And I thought it was appropriate for this weekend to be hanging in the background of all my videos. Okay, so let's talk about the YouTube channel of the week. Well, this has to do with airlines, of course. And this is the time of year when people are traveling, and the airlines have decided that they want to make our lives miserable. Yeah, they make excuses for it, but I think one, they're just not well operated or managed. Two, their prices are too high. They nickel and dime us to death for everything. Three, the experience of flying someplace is not a pleasant experience. I think the only people that get any joy out of it are the ones that can afford the most expensive seats on the airplane and have all the personalized service. Geez, I'd like to be one of those people one day. Just once, I'd like to try that. And it would be a flight to Australia because I want every moment to last. But anyways, so I found this YouTube video very interesting, and it's called Why Airlines Will Never Stop Nickel and Diming Us. And that's what they are doing. But I thought the insights that are revealed in this little video clip are very informative. Doesn't make our life any easier, but, you know, an educated consumer, all that kind of stuff. So here's my review of that clip. This week's video clip comes from a CBC, which is a Canadian broadcasting company, the CBC News, called About That. And I always like to watch this on YouTube because I find it very informative about not just about Canadian politics and news, but news around the world. And this particular one is very timely because it's summertime and a lot of people are doing a lot of traveling, and a lot of that traveling is by air. And so in this particular video clip, the host of this show talks about why airlines will never stop nickel and diming us. And we all have our horror stories about flying, and worse, about everything we have to pay for. And he actually gives a background to all of this and how the airlines, or why the airlines are doing such a thing. So if you're interested in that kind of information, as you plan a trip maybe this summer to someplace else where you may have to fly, then you want to check out this particular YouTube clip. Why Airlines Will Never Stop Nickel and Diming Us. You'll find the link for that clip in the resources in the show notes below. You'll also find the link for Stephanie and Stephen, Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, which happens every Wednesday, and everybody knows about that. You'll find links to my 2 free patterns that I designed myself. And okay, and what else is there? Oh, there's links to all of my friends' pages as well, and links to the past week's videos that I've created. So lots there for your viewing enjoyment. And that takes me to what things are looking like outside my front door this morning by way of my Ring camera. And here it is. It looks like it's going to be a nice day. Current temperature's 11, though. It's a bit chilly. Went out on the deck this morning at about 6 o'clock, and yeah, it's a bit frosty. High is supposed to be 25, though, so we'll see. And, of course, my Siri wants to go off right now. I never know why. Didn't say her name or his name. Mine's a male. Anyways, yeah, it's just looking nice. It looks like it's going to be a nice day today, and our garden is doing very well, as you can see off the side there. And when I say we, I mean Walter, because I don't do any work in the garden. He does it all. He's got a little patch of grass, you can't see it there, that's not doing so well, so he wants to get some more different kind of seed and plant that in. But you know, we have our lawn is getting fairly thick, and that's good because it's really, really keeping the weeds down. As you can see, no weeds. Wish we could say the same for the neighbors on our north side. That is their front lawn is weeds. But anyways, at least they cut it. And when it's cut, it sort of looks like grass, you know, so whatever. To each his own. The neighbors on the south side are great. Their lawn is immaculate, too, and they have lovely flowers and everything like that. But, yeah, it's shaping up to be what looks like a really nice day. So, that takes me to what's pissing me off, and I've already alluded to it a little bit. This is Canada Day. I am very fortunate to have been born a Canadian and to live in Canada my whole life. Canada, for the most part, we have our problems, but is a good place to live. And that is why we probably attract so many people from around the world who immigrate here. And then we have the refugees that we let in. Now, I've spoken about the refugee problem that we're having right now. There's too many of them. It's not that I feel we shouldn't help them out. And that's what Canada's famous for being peacekeepers and for helping out other countries in the world. And I don't think we should change that. However, I think we need to be a little bit more, and I hate to use the word, but discriminatory about who we let in. When you open up the doors wide and say, yeah, sure, for any excuse you can come here, that just takes a set of problems from one place and deposits it right here in our own country. Case in point, and you've heard me say this before, when you come to Canada as an immigrant, we do not demand that you strip away your past and become a full-fledged Canadian citizen in terms of accepting everything about our culture. No, we don't. We say, no, you bring what you bring with us, and you will enhance our culture by adding to it with your cultural background, your foods, your fashions, your talents, things like that. And that's a good thing. But in amongst all those people who are definitely an asset to our society, come a group of people, and they're probably only a minority. However, the minorities we know are very loud, get in here and cause disruption. I already mentioned one kind of disruption, the pro-Palestinian protest that stopped the Pride Parade. And you heard me rant about why I thought that was disgusting. You know, that does not endear me anyways to their plight, to their situation. But the positive side of this country is they were allowed to protest, and they weren't carried off to prison, and they weren't beaten by the police or the authorities. They would be in other countries, but not here in Canada. But they're taking advantage of us, of our good nature. That problem and other problems that other groups protest that demand unfairly of our government to do something about it. Our government can only suggest by way of the G7, the G20, the United Nations, what should be happening. But we cannot go into a country and fix it. It's politically not feasible. If you were to do that, that's an open declaration of war, basically. And we're peacekeepers. We're not warmongers in Canada. Another thing I like about us and about living in this country. But you know, you should when you come to this country, you should look around you and be thankful there's a country like ours that lets you come in here and continue with your life, maybe better your life. And that there was really very few strings attached. Yes, you will have to pay taxes. Do they? I don't know. They have to. They're supposed to, but do they? I don't know. That's a discussion for another day. But this is a great country. We have the second largest land mass in the world. We have an abundance of fresh water. We have an abundance of electricity, of hydroelectricity. We have open free trade. We have lots of food, although there are people who are suffering from, not enough. What do they call that now? Food. Can't think of the term, but you know what I mean. It's kind of a term that doesn't make it sound like you're poor. All that. We're really lucky. We have a government system. Oh yeah, lots of problems with our government, but really, for the most part, our government runs this country and looks after its people well. Of course, we always want more, but that's just human nature. So I guess what I'm saying is this is a great country, or it was, because we're starting to go downhill. The people in power are a-holes at all levels of government. People, I thought, were supposed to go into politics because they wanted to do what they could to make things better. They do not. You've heard me say this before. It doesn't matter who the politician is, it doesn't matter which level of government, they're in it for two things: power and money. And they could give a rat's behind about any of the rest of us. And that's very apparent every day. And they try to lie to us and spin it as to being something good. An excellent example of that is Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario, and how he spins everything these days, and he's just pulling the rug right out from under us. Um, yeah, so that's a bad thing about the country. The other thing about the country is there is division within our country along provincial borders. It's subtle. Well, not so subtle with Quebec, but Quebec has always been special in their minds. But, the Westerners and the Easterns hate us in Ontario. And I joke about it at times, but the real reason they hate us is because the central power of the country is in Ontario, Ottawa. Most of the money, the commerce of this country, is centered in Ontario. We are probably, I don't have a statistic for this, but I would imagine we're the richest province across Canada. And there's other parts of our country that don't have that kind of commerce. And yes, the government needs to do more to help them out, especially the East Coasters. They have, I think, the highest unemployment rate across the country. So, the government needs to do more for those people because they are Canadians. So don't forget that. Our Indigenous people, ongoing battle. Now, I said yesterday on Stephen and Walter Live, I'm not really sure what the Indigenous people want. I mean, they're not getting the country back as their own because, 400 years ago when Cartier came here in Champlain, they basically ripped it out of the hands of the natives. That's history. This world has a history of there's the conquerors and the conquered, and the conquered. Yeah, that's the term I want for that. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I'm saying it's something that did happen. And we can't go backwards in time and change it. So, what do the Indigenous people want? Apparently, it was National Indigenous Day here in Canada on June the 21st. Missed that one. Didn't hear a thing about it. And why was that? Well, whose responsibility is it to make it known? LGBTQ, the Pride Parade, the government doesn't get out there and pour millions of dollars into an advertising campaign for it. No. If you hear about the Pride Parade and Pride celebrations, you hear it from the committees, from the LGBT community. Well, what about the Indigenous people? Why can't they advertise this as well? I have nothing against a National Indigenous Day. That's great. We have lots of national days for everything, don't we? Women's International Day of the Woman. We have Black History Month. We have Pride Month. There's 17 million of these things. So if you want people to support you, get out there and advertise it. Don't just be whining in a corner. And it doesn't seem to matter what the government does do to rectify the situation for the Indigenous people. It's never enough. Well, I have yet to see published their top 10 requests that'll make them happy. They want the government to apologize. The government apologizes for this. They're not happy. They want to apologize for that. They want the Pope to apologize. Well, he should. They want that. They want this. They want that. But it keeps changing. So, is there any wonder why the average Canadian who is not Indigenous doesn't give a shit? Not saying that's a good thing, but that's reality. But nevertheless, here in Canada, you're getting something. It may not be what you want, but you're getting something. And yes, our government can do a lot more for you. Like clean drinking water would be a nice thing. But it's still Canada. At least You can have a national indigenous day here, and at least you can approach the government and have some sort of negotiations. In other countries in the world, no, just no, hard no, not getting that. So, yeah, for the most part, I am very happy to be a Canadian. I love Canada. It is my country. You've heard me say that if I was a younger man, I'd move to Australia because I love Australia. I don't know if I really would because I think this country's the best. And it's not that I am, well, I guess I am patriotic to a point, but it's because I have a good life here. You know, yes, we can all bitch about what's not good and how things could improve. We're always going to do that. That's human nature. But for the most part, I am happy to be a Canadian. I am glad I live in the country that I live in. And yep, oh Canada, we stand on guard for the, yeah. Okay, so new products. Well, I haven't bought anything really new, but I did go on a little bit of a shopping haul to a fabric store. Annie's, it's called. It's about, half an hour to the east of us. And went in to buy only one thing. I want to get some Canadian fabric because I want to make another quilt of valor. So I did. She didn't have much to choose from though, so I basically bought the only two things in a panel that she had, and you can see those in the middle, and the rest is the rest of the haul, Went in to buy a couple of meters of fabric, came out with 18 meters of fabric. Yeah, story of my life, but I'll talk more about these tomorrow on the Idiot Quilter. Okay, so let's take a look at how our garden's doing, and it is doing really well. We'll start with the grow light situation. Now, these look a little sad. This is lettuce. It looks a little sad because Walter harvested a whole bunch of it. We had some of it for dinner last night, and it was great. I mean, you can't beat the taste of produce that you grow yourself. You really can't, because you know where it came from. You know what's been done to it. Ours is completely, and I hate this word, but completely organic. There are no pesticides or anything like that on our plants. Now, if you want to see something though that does look really sad, is okay, our our onions have collapsed, and these are radishes. These wilted green things. Now they probably will spring up, but what happened was Walter transplanted them from under the other set of grow lights into the workshop grow light, which is a much more, it's a bigger system. And so they'll probably perk back up over the next couple of days, I hope. We did have our first radish off of these, though, and it was quite a big one. That's another reason why Walter transplanted them into a bigger pot, because they were getting squeezed out. They were in too small a pot. I'm not really sure what's going on with the onions. Collapsed under their own weight, maybe. I don't think he transplanted anything in there, but they'll probably perk up as well. And I mean, the greens, we eat the greens off the onions. You put them in salads, you put them on baked potatoes, you do all kinds of things with them. So we'll just trim those back a little bit. So they'll be fine. But what's really going nicely is this outside. More lettuce. We eat a lot of lettuce. We eat a lot of salads in the summer, especially right now that Walter's on a pre-diabetic kind of diet. So those are coming along. We have harvested some of those. That's why this pot is a little bit shy here. I love these too because there's different varieties of lettuce in it, and they're such a beautiful plant, but you got to watch them. If they bolt, means flower, then you got a problem, because then you don't get a lot more lettuce off them, and the lettuce goes a little bit bitter in taste. So down here on Garden Alley, as you can see, our tomato plants and pepper plants, and everybody's doing things. We have some little peppers happening here, and we have them on a few others. And we do have tomatoes coming along as well. Don't ask me what variety these are. I think these might be Romas, but I'm not really sure. We have black tomatoes as well. They're called Midnights. We've yet to determine, I don't have a picture of them. They're really tiny right now, and they're really hard. So we're not sure how you tell when they're ripe. I guess they're when they kind of feel like soft. Now, our experiment with the cucumber? We've got a pickle. Look at that. We have a pickle. And there's more flowers on this, and there's some little things coming up here. So, we may get a few cucumbers for our salad out of this. I'm not making pickles. There's not going to be enough. It's only basically one plant. But I'm really like, wow, this is sort of working. Basil is looking much healthier now. Walter picked off a lot of the leaves that had a blight on them, and I don't know if he treated them for anything. I don't think he did. I think he just pulled them off. But they're doing very nicely right now. More onions. Yes, that's what the onions are supposed to look like. And yeah, so that's the garden. Everything is doing really nicely. We've had, a good amount of rain lately, and lots of sunshine. So two factors you need to grow your vegetables. So really happy about all of that. Too bad the weather wouldn't just warm up a little bit. We haven't had really warm weather. The lettuce kind of likes it a little cooler, we have found. It seems to grow better when it's a little bit on the cooler side for some reason. Maybe that's why they call it, although we don't have any in there, iceberg lettuce. I don't know. It grows in an iceberg. Okay, so that takes me to, can I print this 3D effing thing? So I thought you'd like to see my creature collection. Yes, I have creatures. Now I printed these some time ago. Back when I first got my printers and that, you print a lot of what you think are cool, and then you have to figure out where you're going to put them all. So I did a little video to show you my 3D printed creature collection.
So another fun thing you can make with your 3D printer are what I call creatures or mythological figures or things like that, or fantasy figures. Here are some that came from, I forget what the show was, not Venom, it was something else, and I forget what it was, but I just thought the figures were really neat. And last week I talked about sculptures, and these have sort of a sculptural look to them as well. But I've made other things. If we go over here to the display that I have up here, and by the way, the shelves that these are on were all 3D printed, and they sort of interlock, little hexagons. Here you have some creatures as well. Not all of these are creatures, but a fair number of them are. And of course you can make, they're not so much creatures as figurines, like Mickey Mouse, and I've adapted Mickey Mouse in some cases to be pin cushions, which is kind of fun. And then over here as well, and these all sit behind my 3D printers on those shelves I talked about. And we have some other mythological creatures, characters from Star Wars, things like that. And over on this shelf, I have Godzilla, of course, and of course I have a dragon as well. That's kind of a cute dragon. I should print another one of him in other colors. There's this hideous creature, which I can't remember what his name is or where he's from, but those of you that are into fantasy or that kind of stuff will definitely know who that is. And then, of course, there's always your fun gnomes, and you know how I love gnomes. You can't get too many of those either. So, yeah. And you already have seen my Doctor Who display, and although he's not a creature, he is a fantasy figure. So yeah, you can have a lot of fun with your 3D printer just making these kinds of whimsical things. If you're a fan of, certain movies or of certain fantasy books or whatever, you can have a lot of fun making these kind of things with your 3D printer.
So that takes me to my other life, my life in the past before I became a quilter when I was a paper crafter. And there was a book that came out. It was actually a journal. It was called a Smash Journal. And they were all the rage for a year or so. And the idea was it was very, it was a good idea. And it was fun. It was very customizable. And they had stickers and things like that for it and that and whatnot. So in my last year of teaching, I had bought myself one of these Smash journals and a bunch of stickers, and my goal was to keep a sort of a list of things I wanted to do when I retired, sort of a bucket list in a journal format. And I wrote other things and websites I wanted to visit or do or check this out, and I kept it on my desk at school. And when an idea or thought came to me in the course of the day, I would put it in this journal. So I thought you'd like to see how that system, you can't buy them anymore, I'm pretty sure. It was kind of cool. at the time. So here's a little video clip that I made. Well, no, this is an excerpt from one of my videos from 10 years ago, 11 years ago, about how I use my Smash Journal.
So I thought I'd make a very quick video about what I do with a Smash journal. And most people, I think, are familiar with Smash journals. This is one right here. They're a book system, a journal system that come already made, and they have like decorative papers inside throughout them, and you can buy all kinds of little accessories like these little booklets that have little pieces, little things in them for writing on, that kind of thing. They come in a variety of themes, quotations, family stuff, trip stuff, and just general everyday kind of thing. It also comes with a little pen, if I can get it out here on the side. Okay, there we go. And this little pen that comes with it is actually a marker on one end for writing, for doing your journaling and that kind of thing. And on the other end is a glue stick. And it twists up, and it's meant for gluing in these little sheets, which is pretty handy if you're out and about, I suppose. I find that I seldom use the pen. The glue, I find a little on the messy side. I like to use a tape runner with mine when I put the little things in. I don't usually have this out with me. I use it to record basically ideas that I get, so it's sort of an idea journal. There's also little tags you can buy, little things that are point arrows around, and all kinds of neat little doodads. And I guess the whole idea is that this is sort of an ongoing scrapbook of your thoughts, your ideas. You can put anything you want into it. So as I said, I use mine as an idea journal, and I write right directly on the pages or on some of these little pieces of paper they have. There's one of those little tags I was talking about. And anytime I get an idea about something, I put it in. Now, I've organized mine. You can see there's a whole set of tabs along the side here, and they're on just various things that I have interest in. For example, like my bookbinding ideas, workshop ideas, writing projects, scrapbooking projects, genealogy, other projects, books of music that I might want to buy or listen to or read, random thoughts. This is where I keep sort of an occasionally write little journal entries in here about what's going on in my life. I think my last one was April the 3rd that I wrote in here, and before that I hadn't written in this section since November the 5th. So you can see I'm really not much of a diary keeper, but every now and then I get this urge to write about what's been going on, so I write it in here. I have shopping lists. I have book in here for things that I might want to purchase. Here's something else that comes along that you can buy for these. This is a little pocket. It has a calendar on the outside of it you can stick down. Same, these are various pockets you can get as well. They come in packages that look like this. This is a few extras. And you can see it even has a pocket at the back for that kind of thing. So just very quickly, I'll show you in here what my contents are like. You can see my pages get pretty filled up. Now, one of the things I do that inspires me to write in this book is I usually write in colored pens. There's something about writing in colored pens that, for me, makes it a fun experience. And so you can see that I do that, and you can also see that I draw little arrows around to different things. At first, when I first started writing in this, I didn't know how long I would keep up with this. I didn't really date any of my entries, but as you go through this booklet, I do that now. So anytime I get an idea or I write something in here, I just include the date of when I wrote it. So you can see, I even cut out pictures of things that I think might be of interest someday down the road to buy for my various hobbies, and I just post them in here. I just glue them in. What else is in here I can say about it? Anytime I get an idea for a new album or for something I want to try out, I'll throw it down on one of those little notepads, stick it in here. And usually this sits on my shelf near my computer. When I get the urge to write in it, I pull it out. Or sometimes what I do is, after a length of time, a few weeks, a month or so, I go back and I review the things that I'd written in this journal beforehand, and that inspires me sometimes to do things. Or it also reminds me of some things I thought about doing, and then I have forgotten completely about them again. So anytime I'm getting a creative block, I kind of look through this and see what's up. And oftentimes I find that when I've done that, that it also creates more ideas. You know, you get an idea for one thing, then you review it after a while, and then you get an idea for another thing. So that's basically how I use the Smash Journal. I don't know how popular these are. It was a neat little gimmick, I thought. I didn't really think I'd use it that much, but actually I have. And they come in other sizes as well. They're still making them, and they have some theme ones as well, like Hello Kitty and things like that as well. But anyways, I thought I'd share my creative Smash Journal with you.
And that takes me to events in the past week. And this is going to be a little longer video today. Sorry, because I have another 10-minute video to insert here in a moment, and I'll tell you what that is. But first of all, went to the doctor on Monday to look at the thing that's on my back. It's not a monkey. Monkey would have been easier to get off my back. It's a red patch. You know, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't itch. Although this morning I kind of think it itches. I don't know. My imagination. And I've had it for quite a long time, like years. Like, I don't know. I don't remember when it first appeared. So it's been there at least 6 or more years. Could be longer than that. Anyways, as I said, Walter was getting worried about it. Of course, Walter's mind always goes to the worst case scenario about anything that has to do with health and, you know, skin cancer. So off to the doctor I went, just to please him. Doctor looked at it and I said, so I'm here because Walter made me come. And he says, we're the same doctor, and he thinks it's skin cancer. What do you think? She says, well, I can't tell you that one way or the other. No, she can't. She's not a cancer doctor. And she's just protecting herself. But she took a look at it and she said, well, if it's not been giving you any problems, and she says, I really don't think, she didn't say it couldn't have been cancer, but she said, I don't think it's anything to really worry about, but she prescribed some cortisone cream for it. And she said, you know, put this on twice a day and call me in 3 weeks if nothing looks different. I'm debating on whether I'm going to call her back, and I'll tell you why. So this is on a part of my back that I cannot see and I cannot reach. So guess what? Nurse Walter has to apply my ointment, as I call it, my little ointment. Oh, nurse, twice a day. I have him do it in the afternoon once he gets up. So it's like lunch there, and just before I go to bed at night. And we've been putting a Band-Aid over top of it because this cream is a little greasy, and I don't want it on my shirts. I don't want it on the bed sheets, this kind of stuff, right? So anyways, I'm not using it now. I've stopped. It's not doing a thing. Maybe I haven't given it enough time, but it's just, I said to Walter, does it look any different back there? He said, not really. He says, but you got marks where the bandages are. I think he took sheer delight in putting a new bandage on and taking the old one off, like off my back. God, I'm glad I'm not a hairy man because, whoa, that would hurt. But, yeah, it's not doing anything. And this is what I'm saying. Do I make an appointment with the doctor in a couple of weeks' time and go and say, well, I haven't seen any difference. What do you think? And I'm sure what she'll say then is, well, I think I'll send you then to a dermatologist. I probably should go back again, I guess. I guess I should. I don't know. It just drives me mental. You know, I can't see it, so out of sight, out of mind. I have seen it. I've used the mirrors and things like that. Yeah, it's, I don't know. It looks huge, but it's not. You know, it's, I don't know, size of a dime. Maybe a quarter. I don't know. And like I said, hasn't been giving me any problems, and I've had it a long time. And in fact, my sister has something similar, and my father did too. So it's probably hereditary. I don't know. I just don't trust any of these doctors. Of course, my doctor wanted me to have blood work done because I haven't had it done in a year. And I am on blood pressure pills and I am on cholesterol. Both are very minor amounts. So off I went, got my blood taken. The girl that took my blood, not good, talked my ear off. I wish she'd spent a little bit more time concentrating on what she was doing because, first of all, she tried this arm, couldn't find a vein. I know I have some. They're in there somewhere. So she went to this arm, and well, the bruise is cleared up now, but she's, you know, kind of like a scene from Psycho. All I needed was the shower curtain before she eventually got it in where it's supposed to go. And yes, it hurt a little bit. And she never shut up the whole time through. Blah, 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 blah. I got her whole family history about her dad, what he's doing, this house he's moving into, he's building, he did this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. Then I went and piddled in a jar, and off we went. Well, I got the results back. Well, the receptionist or assistant to the doctor called me to say, yeah, your blood work came back. Dr. Dion says everything is fine, except she wants to increase your cholesterol medication. It's up a little bit. All right. So I said, increase it to what? Well, I was on 10 milligrams of Crestor. She's doubled it to 20. Now, I've been on 10 milligrams of Crestor for 15, maybe going on to 20 years. Yeah. So anyway, she said, yeah, we'll send the prescription to your pharmacist and whatnot. So yeah, I had the prescription, everything like that. I'm taking the 20 milligrams. I'm not sure about this. So Walter, there's something called Dynacare. I don't know. They're a company. And essentially, they're the people who take your blood here where we live and do all that. They're a lab. And you can, for a fee, activate an app on your phone or whatever in your computer, and you can see all your health records, like that they deal with, all your blood tests and everything, the results of them, and the whole bit. Well, I decided, because I'm Walter said, well, you should call the doctor and tell you don't want to increase it. But I'm thinking, well, she's a doctor. She's supposed to know, right? So anyways, I signed up for this Dynacare thing. It's only $10 a year. So, okay. And I checked out my latest lab results. Everything was normal. All had green lights on them except one. And it wasn't the cholesterol. It was some other test. It had to do with hemoglobin. And I read about it, and essentially what I could gather, I couldn't gather that much information, that it could be the indicator of a problem, but then they said, but you can't be sure. It depends on the individual, it depends on your diet, depends on your level of physical health, other medications you might be on, whether or not you live in a single dwelling home and you make over 100,000 a year, or you know what I mean? In other words, it told me nothing. So and I looked at my cholesterol number. I'm okay. I'm close to where they get uptight with you and want you to be on medication. But according to what I saw, I'm below that number. But I'm on medication. Well, I guess I'm below that number because I'm on the medication. I don't know. But that was with 10 milligrams. So she wants me to have a blood test in another 3 months' time. So I will. In the meantime, I guess I'll continue to take the 20 milligrams of cholesterol medication, unless I see her before that 3 months. And then I'll question her. I'll say, okay, I'm below the number. Why did you increase my medication? She is a pill popper. Walter's really good. He turns around and says, no, not taking that. And I probably should do that too. And, as much as I criticize doctors and how much I do not like them, I still, kind of bend to the idea that they do have an education and this is their job and they should know more than I know. We'll see. So anyways, that's the dilemma I'm in right at the moment. Okay, moving on. We had a pop-up sew day on Saturday, and it was great. We had about 36 people at the height of it, which is a good number. Didn't break the record. I think my record is 40 or 41. But everybody there, I think, had a good time, got lots of things done, learned from each other, enabled each other to buy things. Well, at least I got enabled. I did pretty well. I only bought, I think, a pattern. Yeah, didn't buy anything major. So that was great. Now, am I going to have another pop-up sew day soon? Yes, I am. My birthday's coming up in 2 weeks' time. So I'm having, and I did this last year, I'm having Stephen's Birthday Bash pop-up sew day. That will be on Saturday, July the 13th. I will have links for the Zoom in the show notes next week, and I'll be sending out next week the email to everybody on my mailing list. Now, what's going to be a little different about this, because it's my birthday bash, there has to be presents. But the little twist here is I'm giving you presents. Well, not all of you. The lucky winners. I'm going to have some draws, kind of like I do with my retreat. Not as many prizes, though. I'm going to have some Amazon gift certificates. And periodically through the day, I will be spinning my big wheel. And no, I won't spin the big wheel. I'll have to think about how this is going to work, because you can come and go. Anyways, there will be prizes. Put it that way. Yeah, so come if you're free and join me for a festive edition of Pop-Up Soda, Stephen's Birthday Bash. Now, we did do something very interesting yesterday. We went for a walk, damn near killed me, and we ended up over at the college, which isn't far from us, Durham College, and it's also a university as well. And we thought maybe you'd like to see it, because right now, this time of the year, there aren't any students there, so we had pretty much the campus to ourselves, and so we took a wander around there. And this is where Walter went to college as well, many, many years ago, but it has really changed in over 40 years, as things do. So I'm going to put in a little insert in here right now. And again, this is going to be a longer version because of all the little video clips I had this week. So, you know, I could have saved this for next week, but I didn't want to. Here you are. So this is Durham College and Ontario Tech University, all one and the same thing. And we're going to go and explore it today. This part right in front of us as we move down into the campus is their sports field. So lots of soccer or whatever going on in here. So yeah, we'll see what we see. Another shot of the sports field. You can see there's some activity out here today. Yes, they're playing soccer. Isn't that where you kick the little white ball around 18 holes? Yeah. We decided to go for a walk today, and so we've gone just west of where we live, and this is the Oshawa campus of Durham College, and we're about a mile west. And what do they call it? That's the Ontario Tech University, OTU, and in Durham College. Yeah, Walter went here, but it didn't look like this when he went here. It had about one building, and it was Durham College. We used to call it Coconut U. See, because I went to a real university. But anyways, enough being snotty. But it has grown over the years. And actually, we were walking around the campus a little bit earlier, and we're going to walk back that way and maybe take some film. We didn't think of it at the time. Film. We don't take film anymore. Video. Yeah. Oh, I'm aging myself now. But anyways, back in the day, one building. Now, many, many, many buildings. And of course, it's a Sunday, so nothing's here is really open. And I don't know when their next semester starts. This is the end of June. Tomorrow's July the 1st. I wonder if it starts next week after the long weekend or what. No idea.
If they have active summer classes or not. Like, I mean,
yeah,
they have their full year used to be years ago from September to May.
Yeah, but that's changed. Well, they did a few years ago, I know, hearing that they had summer courses too, so
I would imagine they do.
So they probably do. Most universities do, I think.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's been a long time since we've been at a university, so we'll see what we see. So looking down this way at the Gordon Wiley building, that is the original building of that's where Walter went. And of course, none of these buildings existed at all back in the late 70s, or no, mid 70s. When did you go here?
I went here in the 70s. Yeah, it was
in the 70s, yeah.
I graduated in 1978, so 76 to 78.
Well, are you old? And so, yeah, well, I guess things do change after 50 years.
Even this corner building is new here. To see that part down at the end with the dark siding on the end of
Yeah.
the lower part, that's part of the original building.
Yeah. It was not very big in those days. That's for sure. But now, I don't know what their student population is now. But there's this big, and the campus also extends to downtown Oshawa as well. The Faculty of Education, which they never used to have, is in the downtown part.
Have a satellite one in Whitby.
Yes, they have a satellite campus in the town next door to us called Whitby. So yeah, it's really grown over the years. Just another shot of the campus up here. All of this is, well, was not here when Walter went here. In fact,
Actually, I think that building was original. That building over there, that
Over
used
where?
to be it has the same structure with that dark siding on it.
oh yeah,
That used to be where the nurses were trained.
oh that's right, yeah, because that used to, yeah, they built up around that,
Yeah.
and this was part of the original building. This part. I don't know where that leads us.
I don't think.
I think that's service area.
The delivery vehicles and stuff.
We never really think about this place living up here, that we're living up very close to this campus and everything, until you see all the students out in the streets. But yeah, when we moved up here 30 years ago, this was nothing like this.
It was still the way it was when I was in the late 90s. It was still the way it was when I went to school here. And it wasn't until after the 2000s or so, I don't know when they slowly started building more and more buildings. And then started making it more like a university.
So over in that area, there's a common, which is kind of nice.
And they built all kinds of student residences around, private ones, and they have some on campus as well.
Yeah, that's something they didn't have. Well, when it was a college, they never had residences. No.
And there weren't that many people that went to college. When I went, there was only a student population of about 1,500 or something. And that included the nursing section.
As you can see, this is coming out to this common area, which is kind of nice. Trees, grass. They've got a little fountain thing over there, and lawn chairs, where I guess students can leisurely sit around and study. Do they do that anymore? Study? I don't know. This little buck right here. More of the building from the other side of the common.
Split free, one pace, 20 minutes, 34 seconds.
More of the campus and its buildings, and I could not tell you what these buildings hold or what they are. They are sort of labeled on the outside, but don't really know. That one says something center. I think it might be the athletic fitness center. That's the fitness center down there.
Yeah, that's part of the old building. That they built that on when I was there. That's the auditorium there at the top of the tall part.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. There's some event down here according to signs, but we don't know what kind of event it might be. So we're going down to explore and see. So this is the north end of the campus, and this is new. Well, new as it's been here several years now, but that's the, what's that building? Is that?
That's the tech building on the
Oh,
other
that's
side.
tech building, and there's a sports complex.
Dome there. Inside sports dome and outside fields.
So It's big. It's a big campus. So this campus has a connection to General Motors of Canada, which is here in Oshawa, always has been. But I think this might be robotics labs and things like that in there, and high-tech manufacturing technology and stuff like that. I've seen different things about it on TV, but never been there. Okay, so we're coming up upon the tech building, and we're just going to take a walk down there by the dome. Might be something going on in there today, I don't know. It's a sports complex of sorts, I guess.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do?
Yes, it's a dome. I don't know what's in it. But they also have like soccer fields and
Yeah.
football fields and stuff. So.
Well, we were in part of that one when with the first round of COVID shots.
I don't think we were in the dome. I think we were in the building that's associated with that.
Who's beeping his fucking horn? Oh, I guess he wanted that other guy to move. They're very impatient here. Usually, we're doing the legal thing. We're going across the crosswalk. But if you come down here when classes are in, they're all over the place. Crosswalk is just a suggestion for them. I'm surprised there haven't been more of them killed, because this is a busy street that's down here.
They walk and they look at their phones and they step off onto the crosswalk and don't even look where the cars are.
No.
So I'm surprised there's not more people that have gotten run over.
Well, maybe there have been. We just mistook them for roadkill when we drove by. Now take a look at this tree. It has a definite, decided lean to it, but it goes straight up from there. Just thought it was kind of interesting. This building here is the campus ice center, so, you know, for your ice sports, hockey, whatever. I don't know if they have ice in there all year round or not.
They call this the campus field house.
This one, the dome. And they call it what?
Just says campus field house.
Oh, okay.
And then they're down there over there. You can't see it very well. They have a big sports field.
Yeah.
So take a walk around the ice center and up on the other road.
So now we're at the far end, the far north part of the campus. This is looking at the backside of the ice facility. Nothing going on in there today. Well, it is July, or is about to become July.
Just have an old pub place on the corner.
Yeah, I don't know if that exists anymore.
I don't know, they still have umbrellas up there.
Oh, maybe. Let's go up this pathway and see.
I don't want to go in there. But...
Well, I don't know. Just walk by and see. Curiosity, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's not on your diet.
No.
We had a nice healthy brekkie. I made you avocado toast with hard-boiled egg. It was delicious. Okay, what's coming up? Well, we have two events coming up. One's happening maybe today when Walter gets up. Looks like it's going to be nice out. So we will go to a town called Coburg, which is east of us by about 45 minutes. Every year on Canada Day weekend, they have a big vendors market. People with their things that they make, carvings, paintings, tons of jewelry, gitchy foods, gitchy other things. And it's kind of fun to walk through. You have to pay to get in. I don't know what it was. It used to be $5. It's probably about $10 a person now. It's a fundraiser they do for the Kinsman Club or Kiwanis Club or whatever they call it these days. So we might go down there. And because it's right on the lake in Coburg, Coburg has a beautiful beach on Lake Ontario. It's always nice if the weather's nice, and it looks like the weather's going to be nice. So great day for it. So whenever Walter gets up, we'll be going. He said he'd get up earlier to go, so we'll see. And next Saturday, we're going over to Walter's nephew's house because his girls, our great nieces, are putting on a little concert. They do this every year in the summer. They're very talented musicians. The two girls, I don't know, I think I showed some video, and I will take some video and show it again this year, of the two of them. And they play with their father. They all play guitars, and I think one of the girls also plays a flute as well. These girls are not yet in high school. They're in elementary school. I think Claire, the oldest one, I think she's going into grade 8 in September. Wow, how time flies. And her younger sister, who's, I think she's a couple of years younger, I think, as well. But they're very, very good. But Brooke, the youngest one, she's a tiny little thing and she plays the bass guitar. And she's got this huge guitar in her lap and she's strumming away. And it is hilarious watching her. But she's good. They're both very, very good. They're very talented. So we go over there and we sit out. They have a large covered deck area behind their house. And we go out there and we have wine and appetizers kind of a thing and are serenaded. So I'm making some things for the girls. I'm making them each one of my articulated dragons as we speak. They're printing now. And I said to Walter, I want to give them a quilt. I gave their parents a quilt a few years ago. And at the time I said to their mother, I said, I want the girls to have a quilt. And she thought they were too young to have a quilt. I don't think that's right. You're never too young to have a quilt. But anyways, I went along, of course, with her suggestion. She's their mother. But this time I said to Walter, okay, I'm going to take 4 quilts over with us. We'll leave them in the car. And I'll speak to their mother privately when we're over there and say, I'd like to give each of the girls a quilt. Do you think, it's appropriate now at their age? And if she says yes, I say, great. I happen to have them in the back of the car. And I'll pull out these 4 quilts and let the girls each choose one that they like. That's my plan. We'll see how that works out. Okay, so that's next Saturday. And yeah, now we're coming to the end of the today's episode. I'm just looking to see if I don't know if I have what I wanted to read to you, or did I destroy it? I think I destroyed it. But I had a very disturbing comment written in the comment sections of my blog last week. Somebody by the name of Marty Brown. Yeah, I'm calling her out. She was nasty. She turned around and said, "You should be very appreciative of the shirts that Walter makes for you. You are so nasty and mean to him all the time, and you've got to stop being that way. I, for one," she says, "do not find your sense of humor amusing." Something to that effect. I paraphrase. You're a bitch. And I eliminated her. Power of the delete key. That was hurtful. There was no need for that. I'm sorry if you don't like my sense of humor. Then unsubscribe from me. Also, you do not know us well enough to say what you said. I am not mean to Walter. It is how we interact with each other. What you see on Stephen and Walter Live or on So Chatty when Walter's on with me is the way we are. We've been that way for almost 41 years. It works for us. We do not hate each other. We do not do this. It is our sense of humor. And I'm sorry if it doesn't fit into your idea of what a sense of humor is. Get a life. I don't live to your standards. And that's basically what this person is doing. It's telling me like I'm a bad little boy and that I should obey what she thinks is the right thing to do. No, I don't have to. And I do not put up with that kind of crap. And so that person has been banned. Simple as that. So the reason I'm bringing it up is because I found it very hurtful, and it did hurt my feelings. But just so people are aware, and this is not just happens to me, but this happens to all content creators. And you've heard me talk about that before. We put ourselves out there, but we have these crackpots who think it's their God-given right to tell us what we're doing wrong, what they don't like, as if their opinions mattered. Your opinions as my subscribers do matter in a constructive way. But that was not constructive. It was destructive. And as I said, I have the power of the delete key, and they have been canceled. Yeah. But anyways, I hope you have a great week. I hope you have, for the Americans, I hope you have a great Independence Day and Independence Weekend, because I know you probably run it into the weekend, so you get a little bit of a holiday, and that's always nice. I hope all my Canadian subscribers are enjoying their Canada Day weekend as well. And good things are coming, so let's look forward. Let's not look backwards. And we'll see you next time. Bye for now.